Hi everyone, we are team 2 of Thầy Kien's DST class, and today Hoài An, Nguyệt Hà, Thủy Tiên, Đăng Thiên, and I are going to present to you about the case study of the Trüffeljagd, loosely translated to truffle hunting project. So to provide some background information about this project, it was created as a solution to the problem of closing butcher shops in Germany. Between 2004 to 2014, there were 4,000 butcher shops that were forced to close down. The reasons why they closed down were attributed to two main problems. First of all, the opening of supermarkets, which began in the 1990s and quickly became the favored spot for meat shopping. Secondly, the amid crisis of consuming meat. I don't know if you all remember this crisis, but back in the early 2000s, the mad cow disease had resurfaced and began to spread widely throughout Europe and Asia, making people who have eaten a mad cow to fall ill and in some cases die. Until now, there has been no vaccines or cure for this disease, but it has been prevented through the strengthening of food safety laws and in some regions eradicated by the search and killings of animals with such disease. Besides this disease, there is the ethical issue of large-scale farming and also the impact that eating meat has on climate change that have added on to the image crisis, where Germany has the highest rate of vegetarianism amongst its European neighbors. So to solve this problem, the Trüffeljagd project was born. It was funded by the Adelberg Raff Stiftung Foundation, which was founded to focus on the research in the food sector of Germany and worked on by the teams of HBI School of Design Thinking in Potsdam, Germany. To explore deeper about this project, Nguyệt Hà will introduce to you all the design thinking process of this project.
We break down the process into 7 parts and analyze. These steps include accept, understand, observe, define, and then the solution space, ideate, prototype, and test. Moving to the accept and understand part. So what are the constraints and what are the resources? So the team members included 2 designers, and one of which was actually a vegetarian, an engineering student, a PhD candidate doing research in education, and a journalist. So as we can see from the list, these team members, like no one has experience in the meat industry. This is kind of related to our DST group while facing problems while doing our term project, but the diversity in disciplines could induce multi-dimensional approach to the problem, and that could be the resources. And to the understand part, so what are the problems? What are the causes? Due to some reasons that have been mentioned in the previous part, butcher become less appealing to the young, and that lead to the shortage of young professionals in the industry. And having to deal with complex requirements due to public scrutiny, butchers didn't have enough time to expand or explore new business opportunities. And now we have accept the constraints and the resources and understand the problems. What are the next steps? Hoài An will present to you.
So there's nothing better than observing the case in real life. So we'll move to the next stage, observe. The team used 2 toolboxes that I will explain further. The first one is trend analysis. They detected that there were 2 main trends. First, there was an ongoing demand for ready meals catered by butchers. These are often homemade recipes and, most importantly, very convenient. The consumers just want to grab a pack of warm meal and then just need to drop by the butcheries and they will have a lavish one. Secondly, most of ready meals consumers were over 50. And to investigate more into this case, we can see that the habits of these people over 50 is that they will get the convenient meals in butcheries before they have supermarkets and restaurants like in the past. And these meals emanate an old school vibe that they really like. And most importantly, it's the convenience that counts. So the next toolbox they use is the AEIOU toolbox, which stands for activities, environment, interaction, objects, and user. The three in orange, I will explain more. So activities, they will look into the activities of both the butchers and the butcher's wife in an environment of a family enterprise, which is the butcher schools, farms, and meat shops. They travel there themselves. They look into the interaction within a closed, inclusive family business in which family members play their roles as owners and assistants at these meat shops. The objects of the case study, it's field observation, a lot of interviews, first-hand experience of labor in meat shops. And about the user, they focus mostly on consumers. About the activities of the AEIOU toolbox, we look into the activities in both sides. So we look into the activities of the butchers. So the butchers, they have meat cutting. So the butchers, they have meat cutting, meat processing into products such as sausages, and selling things. And regarding the side of the butcher's wife, they're in charge of preparing a small buffet of ready meals, such as beef ragout and blood sausages. So about the family enterprise, this is a very special environment that I want to dig deeper into because it's related to the next stage. All the family members within this business want to preserve their family craftsmanship, their traditional values, and also the recipes. So after observing the case in real life, they moved on to define the point of view. They reframed the problem from how to update a business, a traditional butchery, into a modern one. And the problem became how to keep craftsmanship relevant in the new world. So we come up with a how might we statement to understand more about the bigger context. How might we preserve the traditional values of German butchers and help them to renovate their business themselves, taking into account their mission to upkeep their craftsmanship and skepticism towards outsiders? So having defined the problem clearly, we'll move on to the next stage, prototyping by Danny.
Onto the prototype process. This process is when the team actually tests their ideas with real consumers. They do so by calling a few shops in Berlin to participate. Their instructions were clear. They needed a takeaway meat-based snack. A drink and a small dessert should also be included. The butchers had a couple of days to prepare the orders with the freedom of choosing the recipe themselves. Onto the test, which is the result of their first solution. As the students picked up their orders made from the butchers, an overwhelming sense of frustration took over the team. Even though they had reached out to different shops, the products they received were very much alike. Open schnitzel sandwiches and raw sausages wrapped up in plastic, accompanied by sweet drinks and half-melted chocolate bars. The meals were accommodated in cheap plastic bags and then in cardboard boxes. There were no napkins or cutlery included, and the recently fried schnitzel smelled so strongly that it disturbed other travelers on the team's train ride. There are 5 possible solution ideas that the team came up with during the ideate process. The first idea is called Pig Starter. This is when butchers access an online crowdfunding platform to get the necessary funds for new projects. Possible campaigns could include, for example, acquiring food trucks, switching to an eco-friendly supplier, or renovating the butcher shop. Through the platform, the butchers would not only bypass traditional banks, but also establish a deeper connection with their customer base. The second idea is called Mootown Label. This is when every party involved in the meat product chain, farmers, slaughters, butchers, restaurant, bands, together under one regional brand and subscribes to its values. Sustainable farming, ethical treatment of animal, and high quality of products. Consumers would be able to trust little-known producers and processor and regional business would unite against large competitors. The third idea is called meat school. This is when a higher education institution focusing on the fine art of selling meat. Topics such as spicing, interior decoration, and cooking would be taught there. Students would be encouraged to experiment with new recipes, preferably in groups, creating better connections among themselves. The fourth idea is called mentorship program. This is when butchers would be guided by a mentor for a period of time. The mentor is well-connected all-rounder with experience in the meat industry. The goal is to empower butchers to develop shop-specific concepts. The fifth idea is called Meat Safari. This is an inspirational journey for butchers. Participants would go on a trip to visit butcher shops, innovative retail branches, and other companies involved in meat production chain. This would be an opportunity for entrepreneurs to reflect on their own businesses. And now Thuyết will be talking about the final product of this case study and how the team solution turned out to be.
All right. Thank you for inviting me. So after receiving feedback for their fresh perspective, the researchers team found that several butchers showed interest in getting to know innovative initiatives, proving that the butchers were not as skeptical as the team once assumed. All they needed was to actively participate in finding answers for their own business. So therefore, we have the Trüffeljagd. So it takes place in Berlin and links butcher to the most innovative makers in the meat industry. Participants can pick up tips from new businesses that transform meat into nutritious snacks and from online industry. So the Trüffeljagd also creates opportunity for participants to visit pioneering ventures where they can literally follow every step of the butcher's work and track meat back to its source. So this is to show the transparency between the butchers and the customers. The event also provides workshops led by design thinking coaches so that attendees can consider their own difficulties for their own perspective and their own business. And from the Trüffeljagd, we have received immense positive feedback. Since a lot of the butchers who participated in the project had already made significant changes to their operations, such as better communicating with customers about the history of their products or utilizing online resources. Moreover, they also frequently report that the feeling proud of being a butcher again. So that said, the Trüffeljagd now actively advocates for a more transparent and sustainable meat production chain and places the butcher at the center of it, rather than just showcasing innovators. So to sum up, here is the overview of the design thinking process of the Trüffeljagd. As our group has presented, the project followed the full set of the design thinking toolbox, such as accept, understand, observe, define point of view, ideate, prototype, and test, which require immense trial and errors to find the most suitable method for our customers. So having said that, the key message from this case study is to demonstrate our willingness to try, to accept failure, and learn from our mistakes. Through trials and errors, the answer will be there at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, that's it for our case study presentation. We welcome any concern, and you can reach out to us through the comment section below our video. Thank you for listening.